Greetings, my Dragon Knights, Dragon Warriors, and Dragon Kin. This is Dragon Knight, Dragonborn, Dragon Sage. I think you get the memo, you kind of get the gist from here. And I brought you another one of this one just to see how things go. And yeah, I'm probably in my last video, the one that I'm showing like right now, which is my thumbnail. I kind of just like literally just take it a little easy on the editing right now. I think I'm just brought mostly my C tier game editing, just talk through with some music, probably some little bit light editing and call it a day. But same probably with this one and the NVIDIA one as well. Here's another thumbnail. And as always, if you're watching this, as always, don't forget to burn that like button, give the subscribe button, join the family Dragon Knights, Dragon Warriors, Dragon King, like, comment, share, and definitely ring that bell. And if you have the option, please push the hype button. Much obliged. And I have took a little bit guess right here. Here's just a little things like what Tyler has put. I can definitely see some of this stuff. Now, some of them I haven't played, so I can't really say. However, I can definitely see some in here, like, yeah, like the Steam Deck and the Arc Raiders, Marvel's Rival, and of course Warframe. It's getting up there. Anyways, let's get right into the news, shall we? Anyways, these are the best selling and most played Steam games at the start of 2026. This is coming from Tyler, and I probably can agree and disagree. But anyways, I always like to read these before I make a video on these, because just maybe this will catch my interest, go that way, maybe not, we'll see. But anyways, the latest Steam data has revealed the best selling and most played games at the start of the new year. Okay, hang on, let's look this up real quick. So yeah, it just really depends. So again, I know I'm looking at it, I had to double check because guess what, sometimes it's just best to make sure. If there's any game journalists out there, they can probably just put up something and call it a day. So, but yeah, here's the peak. Here's all the top sellers right now, and definitely the Steam Deck, which is definitely true. Yeah, I don't play Counter-Strike 2, but here's all this. So I bet Tyler just picked out a few ones and call it a day from there. And here's this one for here. And yeah, I just hit it because it's just like outside out mine. Here you go for this one. So yeah, I can definitely see that. Again, never hurts just to double check, just to see. Now, probably at the second time when he wrote this, it's probably just wrote it out and probably just picked out. So, or maybe it's just whoever paid him over here at Gamer Rant just gave him the list or whatever the case is. But it's always good to double check. All right, so that's pretty good. The top of the Steam charts featured some familiar contenders such as Counter-Strike 2, which is a very OG and most people still play that. It would be interesting to see how things fluctuate. There we go. How about I say fluctuate, but now I think it's fluctuate in the months to come. As the most popular PC digital storefront for video games, Steam has no shortage of options for gamers to looking for something to play. And this is actually true. Steam is a digital storefront. However, if you want to go with full on owning your games, go with GOG. Here's my thumbnail of GOG that I did a video on. I know that one was like my C tier editing because I was really burned. I was just like really defeated. You can just even hear in my voice. I was just like having a rough time just re-editing some videos and just like, all right, I just removed it. Not just it hurt, but there's been some problems that, as I said, on my Blue Sky account, there's been editing mistakes and I don't want to redo them again. So I just figured this would be better. So anyways, he's not lying here. However, if you want to go full game type style, at most, I would definitely say, if it was just me, build up your GOG library as much as your Steam library. Because if your Steam, like I said in that video, if your Steam count goes away or Steam just somehow 5 months of download the road, I know it's not going to happen, but by some miracle it does. Like one of the mainstream PC game storefronts, Steam, does poof for some reason. If you already built up your library with GOG, I think you'll be alright. And by the way, I did look back into it of my my GOG games. It's 185. Like that's how much most of my GOG games library is from like I said in that video, was Amazon Prime. My Steam, it's just been mostly I've been paying towards, and I know I paid a lot. Anyways, sorry, it's just one of those things I just want to say. Each year, the platform gets thousands of new titles. 2025 actually seeing over 19,000 additions. The quality can vary since they are added daily, but the last year has seen some noticeable reasons. For example, blockbusters like Battlefield 6 and Arc Raiders. I tried a little bit Arc Raiders, it's just I'm not much of an into shooters. But if you're into shooters, I definitely would recommend pick up Arc Raiders. Fully launched in the later part of the year. Additionally, some highly regarded indies also arrived. This is actually true, and he mentions about Hollow Knight, Silksong, and Claire observed Expedition 33, which, I'll go ahead and say this, I know I'll probably say this again. Claire observed Expedition 33 is a fantastic game. I just couldn't continue with it. It's just, the music that they put in there was so soothing, but I just couldn't keep my eyes open. I'm not saying it's a bad game. The music is fantastic. Like the artwork, it was chef's kiss or French kiss. Chez Bois. Sorry, I know I butchered that. You're like, oh god, he's doing this again. But yes, even Hollow Knight Silksong from Team Cherry. And as far as I've seen right here, Hollow Knight Silksong is getting a beyond the... Here, let me look. Because here's Hollow Knight Silksong, Sea of Sorrow is coming in 2026. And Team Cherry is an indie game, well, indie dev. So to me, that's really cool. And Team Cherry has been really cool. I have played a little bit of Silksong, but I had to finish Hollow Knight first before I finished Silksong. I know probably the changes of Silksong probably changed up after the release, but still, excellent choice right there. I can definitely say even E33 right there too, among the others. Despite many games firming as well to the digital storefront, some have racked up numbers that put them above the competition. And here's the list right here. Arc Raiders first, Steam Deck second choice, and I said this 1,000 times, I'm probably gonna say 1,000 more until I'm 6 feet under. Get yourself a Steam Deck, because lately Steam has been really helping out with the Steam Deck. And if it's not just for Valve, the community behind Linux has been really pushing. Even if there is some that's just not verified or playable, you can probably still play this before even Valve finally just goes, okay, this is verified. And Valve's been really pushing, saying, hey, we noticed you, we're gonna give you the tools. Counter-Strike 2. Yep, the oldest game. Marvel's Rival for sure. Baldur's Gate 3. Warframe. I have been playing a lot of Warframe. I have checked out, and I did make a community post of this. My Warframe count since June 2015, 10-year-old, or at least going on 11 or 12-year-old account, it's still going. And of course, E33, Dispatch, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think even Dispatch, this is like a very dark type thing that just kind of brings into that very dark, grittier type thing. It's good with friends if you know what you're doing with your friends, but it is like a SWAT type thing or a police force thing, just a different term. It's a very dark one, so be aware of that, but still a good game. Avatar Frontier of Pandora. I have not played this game. The only ones I played was Dispatch, a little bit of E33, a lot of Warframe, played a little bit with Marvels, but I just stopped playing it. It's just I hadn't been doing it, and I played a little bit of Arc Raiders. So a few ones are right here, and this is actually, if I can say this right, this is actually true since the old piece of Tau was around. That kind of helped out, but then exact same time, there's nothing more we can do right there. We just had to wait things out now. But yeah. But anyways, while 2026 is just underway, Steam data shows the games that are currently performing the best on the platform. Valve periodically updates its best-selling and most played charts, and this is actually true. They tend to keep that update and going, and most of the recent changes revealed a blend of 2025 games and older titles dominating the ranks regarding bestsellers. Steam compiles, if I said that correctly, a list of the top 100 selling games, and I did show that a little earlier, and older titles dominating the ranks. And I know at least like Delta 2 here, and I know at least Counter-Strike, some older games like that, but that's definitely true. The ranks, okay, there we go. Regarding bestsellers, Steam, oh wait, I already read that. Duh. Ordered them based on revenue. Based on the most recent information, Arc Raiders stands at the top of the pile, beating on Counter-Strike 2. It is worth nothing that Counter-Strike 2 is actually third on the list, as the live charts includes Valve's handheld Steam Deck, which is the second spot. Following Valve's first-person shooter comes from Marvel Rivals and Baldur's Gate 3. great. And this is just this list, and it's still good here, and it says about the rest here. And here's this one about Steam's most played game list, daily players. So here you go, from Counter-Strike, Dota, PUBG, background, Battlegrounds, wallpaper engine. I think most people pick this game up just to have an animated background, and that's actually really cool. Arc Raiders, Geometry Dash, Battlefield 6, Apex Legends, I don't play, War of Thunders, and 10th is Marvel Rivals. So go ahead, probably skip on through if anything else catches my eye. It is worth mentioning that Steam also provides a list of the most played games based on the current players. And also, let me show you this again, because let me go ahead, this one. And I know I've been always praising the Steam Deck, coming from me who has a Steam Deck. Sorry, like, here's all like what you can play on your Steam Deck. Just as I think I said this before, if most of this is just like Red Dead Redemption, I know at least the community behind Linux is probably can make this even run pretty damn good. So even like Skyrim, the special edition, that can probably at least run on the Steam Deck as well. I know, oh no, Alice made a video about, I think, 3 years ago. So here's some more stuff right here. Let me go ahead and move my avatar just for y'all. Here's some ones. Even this one right here, Persona 5 Royal. Here's some more here. Yeah, it's going to take a bit just to get repo to play on the Steam Deck, so, and that's perfectly fine, since if I remember correctly, there are indie devs, so. But yeah, there is still like a lot more stuff here, as you probably am seeing, like, all this stuff is getting up there. So, I'm not gonna go ahead and say this again. And I just wish Valve doesn't kill this thing off too early. Thanks, Valve. I do agree with Vigilante right there, but the one I disagree with them, it's like, because I was saying this, at least with the Steam Deck, when this was sold out, save up to 800, maybe 750, just like the PS5 Pro. Get a Steam Deck. There is some docks. You don't have to go up to $80 for official. Like right here, you don't really need this. You can go for like a 25, maybe 31. And if you have a PS5 or any controller, that can save you a little bit more money. Get yourself at least a 1 terabyte if you really want to, or up to 2. Although you're going to spend a little bit more, I will definitely say right around at least a 1 terabyte. And you should at least have a little bit more money. Then plus with a $10 HDMI cord, you will be alright. And if I remember correctly, that will be at least either $30 or $20 left over for wherever you want after. And that's just my personal preference right there. But yes, the Steam Deck is getting a lot better, and Valve's been really pushing towards that. I just don't see a point of going to a 1 terabyte. You can get a few other things that can reduce the anti-glare, and you can get the Hall of Fame Joy-Cons for your Steam Deck as well, as long as you're following guide, or you get somebody else to do it for you. But yeah, the Steam Deck I would definitely recommend to get whenever you can. Although it doesn't fucking help that Valve just cut the LCD model. You cannot get that as the new, but you can get it as a used. Although that's going up. And if you already have the LCD model, you got Valve's history right there. Hell, even Stadia before then. If you know what Stadia is, way before this, way before GameCube was a thing, people will know about the Stadia thing. That, at least at the time, that if I remember correctly, Steam already pushed out with their own controllers and their own things here. And I think it's called Stadia or something else. I don't quite remember. But for those who actually do know what I'm talking about, you know that's history right there. I know, I just went off a different topic. I tend to do that. And also I try to keep these videos at least a little bit longer as well. So anyways, at the time of writing, several games on this chart that did not make it into the daily playlist, including Rust, Bungle Cat, Path of Exile 2, and Baldur's Gate 3. However, things can change rapidly given that some games are more popular than certain regions. And Tyler's not wrong here, you know, like he said, but in like at least the time of reading, it would be interesting to see how these charts change as the new year progresses. I do agree with that. Since Arc Raiders is the full launch on October 30th, the extraction shooter has shown impressive staying in power on Steam. With this in mind, the game scene poised to continue to the top of the charts if Mark Studios can keep the experience fresh for players through the new updates. Conversely, Battlefield 6 players count has dropped ugly since launch. So time will tell if DICE can keep the game near the top 10 in the coming months. There are also numerous new games releases scheduled for the first half of 2026, and that's true, but I don't really count for keeping, oh, let's just keep worrying about the top 10. If the game is good to you, that's what matters. Yes, even though some things get, behind. Yes, things slip through cracks. Yes, things get through. And I'm not bashing on that. I'm just kind of looking at this. I'm like, yeah, it kind of makes sense here. However, if you just want to say worry about the top 10, why do you want to worry about the top 10 when you can just play a game and still have fun? And once you get back to it, you can at least do that. So I don't see a point, worrying about the top 10. But Battlefield 6, I haven't been playing Battlefield 6, so I can't really say. And I most likely DICE will definitely help out with Battlefield 6 when they have more options. And I've been hearing good things, and Battlefield 6 really turned things around, and for the good. And this is how you make a good game. It's not that hard. Oh wait, yes it is if you're listening to your investors, right? Excuse me. Market shareholders, excuse me, PR. I had to say PR ways. There are also, alright, read that. These could potentially shift the order of most played and best-selling games. But Star Wars, like Counter-Strike 2, Counter-Strike 2 will likely remain near or at the top for the foreseeable future. And yeah, it's a very old game, but most players play on them. So I played a little bit of it, never really enjoyed it, so I just stopped. But this is all the list that he gives. I can see some really up there, so if you're worried about this, fine. But me, I don't really care for it. And this is where I'll end it. As always, my Dragon Knights, Dragon Wars, and Dragon Kin. As always, if you like what you saw, don't forget to burn that like button, and that subscribe button to join the family. Dragon Knights, Dragon Wars, and Dragon Kin. Like, comment, share, and definitely ring that bell. And if you also have the option, push the hype button. Hey, YouTube would be actually kind of nice if people can use, the hype button on PCs as well. Just saying. So, anyways. Hopefully you at least enjoyed, and I think this is probably, this is actually one of the good ones? Possibly. I can see why some of them is on here. Some of them probably disagree, but I'm still mostly on neutral. And like I said, I can see why the Steam Deck's been really pushed, and thanks to at least the holidays, that Steam's like, oh, the LCD model, that was at least a price cut just to find a push, just to sell it, even though they could have just waited until the Steam Deck machine could be pushed, but Armageddon was a thing. Anyways, but for now, my Dragon Knights, Dragon Wars, Dragon Kin, this is Dragon Knight, Dragonborn, Dragon Sage, signing out.